Business Blueprint, simplifying your success.
So this is Pete behind me. He's from itGenius. He's been involved in IT since he was like 15 or something like that, 15, 16 years of age, and now has his own company and helps a lot of our clients with their different IT needs. Okay, so we'll switch over if we can to the other laptop, and hopefully it's live on the web, and we're then good to go, and we'll start doing some live examples and demonstrations. So cool. Over to Pete. Let's give Pete a big round of applause. Thank you.
Thanks, Dale. Guys, how you going? I have great pleasure in being back up on stage again to share some really cool Google technology with you guys. Carl has showed you some really, really cool tools for your inbox. I love Reportive and all the other stuff that the guys have already shown on the screen. The syncing app, was that synced or zapped? Who was that? What was
Fused app.
Fused app. That was awesome. Guys, who's already on Google Apps? Who's used Google Apps before? Already on it for your business? Awesome. You guys are on my side. Cool. Who is yet to make the jump and is still using Microsoft Exchange or something else? Cool. Who's kind of using for your email, for your collaboration, maybe Net Registry for your emails, and you're forwarding in and out of Gmail? Is anyone doing that? There's usually a couple. Yep. Cool. Still on Gmail. All right. And who's just using their cPanel or your standard kind of web host email, and it's just connected to your Outlook or connected to your Mac Mail? Anyone still doing that? Oh, okay, a few still here. Cool. All right. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to talk a little bit about Google Apps. Now, Google Apps and Google Apps for Business is the name for Google's business version of Gmail. So has everybody used, for anyone who's not already on Google Apps, has everybody at least used Gmail? Yeah, just nod your head. Cool. Okay, we've got one shaking your head. Okay, cool. I'm going to be here tomorrow at the round table, so if you want to come and do a demo, check it out. But it looks like most people are at least familiar with Gmail, and all Google Apps is the business version of Gmail. And what that means is it allows you to take your business domain name, so your company name, .com.au, and configure it with Gmail. So when you're sending and receiving emails to your customers, it's not coming from @gmail.com, it's coming from yourcompanyname.com or .com.au. There's also a suite of other applications. So there's the calendar, there's the documents, there's Google Sites, which you can use to store your systems and processes. And there's Google Drive as well, which is a bit like a Dropbox replacement. And I'm going to demo some of these for you guys. Now, what it looks like for your business when you move away from just using maybe Gmail for your emails, or you move away from using Microsoft Exchange, is all of these applications are browser-based. So there's nothing you need to install on your computer. One of the great advantages of this is that it will work in any browser on any computer that you decide to jump on. So whether you're on a Mac or a PC, whether you're jumping onto a computer in an internet cafe or wherever you are, or either on any of your devices as well, you'll be able to access the same applications in the same way. They do also have offline modes as well, so you can access some of these applications offline. So if you don't happen to have an internet connection with you, if you're on a plane, if you're sitting down in a cafe and you don't happen to be connected to your dongle, you can still actually access some of these in offline mode using Google's Chrome browser, which is quite handy to have. Now, if you're already using Gmail, you might ask, well, why should I go to the business version of Gmail? Why should I go to Google Apps for Business? And while you're a small business, if you've got less than 3 to 5 people, it's okay to still use Gmail for your business. So if you've maybe got your emails set up with Net Registry or someone like that, and you're forwarding them into your Gmail account, that's okay to continue kind of running like that. And it's a really easy, cheap way of getting access to Google's Google Docs, Google Calendar, and the other cool things that come along with the free version of Gmail. And also have your own company domain coming in and out of Gmail as well. So it can look like your email address is actually coming from your company. As your business grows, however, and you get above about 5 staff members, you may want to actually start putting your employees or your team members into groups. And that's where Gmail starts to run into limitations. Because as you add and remove staff, as you want to share documents, share files with those different team members in your business, you need to be able to actually organize them into organizational units, they're sometimes called, or groups, and share certain resources and certain applications with those groups. And so what Google Apps allows you to do is have control over all of those users that are under your business domain. So your business domain name, your email domain name. You can align them into groups, you can add and remove users, you have control to reset anybody's password, and if somebody joins your business or leaves your business, you can easily add an account or remove an account for them. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a demo of some of the applications in Google Apps. Now, you've probably already seen them before. So if you're using Gmail already, you'll probably have already used Google Calendar. You've probably already used Google Docs as well, sharing documents and editing in real time. So for the people that haven't used Gmail before and haven't used Google Docs or Google Calendar, I'm going to give everyone a real quick demo of that. Are you guys okay with that? Yeah, cool. And then for the guys who are maybe already on Google Apps or they've been using Gmail for quite a while and you guys are more of the pros in the crowd, I'll show off some more advanced features as well. Are you guys cool with that? Cool, I got something for everyone. All right, so I'm going to jump straight into the demo. Em, how much time have I got left?
About 12 minutes.
About 12 minutes, great, on time. Cool. So first I'm going to jump into Google Docs, and so for anyone who hasn't used it before, it's pretty straightforward. I knew the display was going to go. Hold on, let's just get some more real estate happening here. Just give myself a little bit more space. How's that, guys? Can you see okay? Cool. So this is what Google Docs looks like. We've got person number 1 on the left-hand side, person number 2 on the right-hand side here. And what we're doing is we have 2 different people editing the same document. Because it's browser-based, it's always automatically saving every single version of the document. So it's automatically saving in the background. The other really cool thing is 2 people in completely different locations can work on exactly the same document in real time. Also, keeping it saved and always up to date. So as I edit the document as one user on the right-hand side here, it's actually updated for the other person. And they can be anywhere else in the world. They could also be on an iPad, on a mobile device, and those changes happen in real time, which is a really great way of working. What this actually means for your business is if you're doing a lot of travel, if you need to collaborate on documents, if you may be doing a meeting over Skype or over Google Hangouts, you can edit documents at the same time without having to save, put them in a folder, attach them to an email, and go back and forward. Particularly helpful for spreadsheets. So in the kind of real business cases that we use this for, we share, for example, spreadsheets with our external bookkeepers. So we've got records of checks that have come in the mail, different reconciliations with credit card payments and those kind of things. We've got one spreadsheet that we share with our bookkeeper, who's also on Google Apps, or it could be anyone using Gmail as well. And any change that we make, it's automatically reflected for them. And what that means is that everybody's kept up to date on the same page with the same document. Because it's always saving, and it's always saving securely to Google's cloud, you can also do some pretty advanced revision control as well. So I can just go down here and say, well, show me the revision history for this document. And what that's going to show me is all of the revisions of that document since when it started. So I can go back here to the start. I can see that it was started by or intern, so that's somebody within our organization. And they've created the basic document right at the start here. And I can see all the changes that they've made. I can then see that, here we go, I've come in on the 3rd of October and I've changed everything. There's a few more edits here on the 6th. And then here we go, we've got right up to today's version before I started changing things this morning. So at any point, I can say, well, you know what, I'd like to go back to July 3's version because there's a really good spot there that I want to kind of copy this line. So I can actually restore that version, go right back to the start, and that'll take me to the first version of the document. I can then cut and paste what I need. Where are we? Revision history. I can go back to this morning's version. Before I started playing with things, just bring that one back up. Oh no, that's the one I edited, hold on. Let's go one more back. Cool, there we go, there's the latest version, and I can just paste in what I needed to paste in. There we go. And it's saving every version there. Since the document was created, it will have every version from the beginning of time. So who thinks they might be able to use that in their business to collaborate with maybe their VA, with your bookkeeper, with anyone else who you're using to do documents. It's a really, really cool tool. I'm going to run through a couple of other very quick demos for you guys. The next one is Google Drive. So Google Drive is a bit like Dropbox. Who's using Dropbox? Probably everyone, right? Cool. So Google Drive is about the same as Dropbox. If you jump onto my Twitter feed, just Google me. I recently wrote an article of the 5 reasons why you should move from Dropbox to Google Drive. Check it out, there's plenty of reasons there. The key thing is, once you're on Google Apps and you have all of your team members actually under your Google Apps domain, you can control their access to different folders and different parts of your Google Drive based on their company identity, which is their email address. So if you're using Dropbox or Dropbox for Teams, as your business grows and you've got more than 5 or 10 staff members in your business, managing all the permissions in Dropbox can be a little bit difficult, and especially when employees come and go from the business, it's just hard to kind of keep track of who has access to what. So when I share a folder with somebody using Google Drive, if you have a look here, I can actually share it with groups within my business. So I'm going to open up the sharing settings for this folder, and you can see that I'm the owner, so I've got full access to everything. And then I've shared it with a couple of individuals, so I've shared it with Pierrick there. And then I've also shared it with a couple of groups of staff as well, so they can have access. And so when an employee comes into my business, all I need to do is add them to the group, and they automatically get access to everything that they need. And that's tied to their email address identity, which means that I'm not managing different sets of identities in Google Drive. So we heard a couple of the guys talking about Google Calendar in the couple of presentations beforehand, so I'll give you guys a very quick demo. This is what Google Calendar looks like. It's basically a calendar online and in the browser. Very, very easy to use. I can click and drag to create a new appointment here. It's got all of the same features that an Outlook calendar would have, and if you're using Microsoft Exchange in your business, it's got all of those features. But it's also got a couple of little handy, cool things as well that you can do that Microsoft Exchange can't do. So I'll just show you guys a very quick example here. So I'm going to send Dale a little test meeting here. I can choose which rooms I'd like to actually book out. So if you've got boardroom or meeting room, you need to be able to book out those resources and make sure no one else uses them. You can do that. I can send that off to Dale, but as one of the other gentlemen said, I can actually very easily add a Google Hangout. So I just click this Add a Video Call button. So I won't do that in the boardroom, I'll do that in the meeting room. That'll book out the meeting room for me. But I've also added a video call to that meeting as well. So when I save it, and oh, here we go, Dale, I'll just invite you. Don't send, there we go, cool. So now that I've actually got that meeting in my calendar, just open this one up. I can, when I'm ready to step into that meeting and jump on the video call with Dale, I can just hit that Join Video Call button, and that will automatically launch me into the Google Hangout, and Dale can do the same thing. I'm going to quickly run through a couple of other things for you guys. So I'm going to run through some cool stuff with, I've already gone through tracking revisions. I'm going to go into spreadsheet integration and quickly into forms as well. What I wanted to talk about quickly before that is how this is actually changing the way that we work. So in the past, if you have to, say for instance, put together a report and you've got multiple people in your business that need to help collaborate on that report, or it might be a proposal, might be something that you're preparing for a client. Normally what would happen, or what would happen in the past, is 3 or 4 people that need to work on this document, this report, this proposal, will come and sit in the meeting room, and they'll bring their notes, and everyone will discuss, okay, well, what's this report that we need to put together? What's this document? And everyone writes down their own notes, and you've got 4 different sets of notes together, and then that might take half an hour to have that meeting, and then all of a sudden, after that, one person will go and they'll start the proposal, and then, you'll kind of save it to the company drive, and then someone else will jump in and edit and do what they need to do, and then maybe the business development manager or whoever needs to actually finalize this document will jump in, check it off, and then send it. That process can take up to an hour of wasted time for everybody that's involved, because you're a little bit disparate in the way that you actually are working together. And what we do now is, if we need to put together a report or a document, is if we've got multiple parties that need to be involved in that, we'll do it in a kind of scrum. So we'll each open up our laptop or our computer, we'll open up one document, and we'll actually hammer out the document in real time, working together. And that's taken a process that used to take maybe an hour and have multiple parties and be going back and forward, and everyone's got different sets of notes, to down to 15 or 20 minutes. because we're collaborating and preparing a document together in real time. We're fixing each other's mistakes, we're editing each other's spelling mistakes and all that kind of thing. And it's being finalized and approved in the same process as it's being created. You could be in the same room, or you could be in different locations, in different businesses. You could be anywhere. And if you're on a Google Hangout, you can open up one document and share that document between everybody in the Hangout. That's really cool. But for me, I do quite a bit of traveling with my business and with helping out our clients. So I've, for instance, sometimes been in Melbourne in a hotel room. I've just got my iPad. The guys in the office are having a meeting in Sydney. They're all sitting in the boardroom. They've got a couple of computers there. They're working on it. We jump onto a Google Hangout, and then I open the document on my iPad, and I can actually work on the same document that they're working on. And so that means that wherever I am, I can actually collaborate with my team, and I can work with them. I've done it in taxis between Crow's Nest and the city. It means that wherever you need to, you can jump on and work. And there's no VPNs, there's no connecting, dialing back into your Office server or anything like that. It's really, really smooth, and it's of course accessible from any of your devices. So I'm going to show you guys one more quick cool little thing with Google Drive. What you can do is in each of these documents, I'll show you a spreadsheet here. You can, like in Excel, you can create graphs based on data that's in the spreadsheet document. One of the things that we like to do is we embed these graphs into our Google site. So who's using Google Sites for systemization now? Awesome, cool, we've got a bunch of people here. So Dale's talked a bit about Google Sites, and I know there's some information up on the portal for that. But what we have here in our Google site is we have business statistics that we actually track on a weekly basis to manage the business. And we've embedded statistics that are powered by a spreadsheet on Google Spreadsheets into our Google site. And so anytime I update any of this data in this spreadsheet, it'll update that graph. And then as soon as I refresh the page here on my Google site with all my systems and processes, that data will be updated there. And so that's great if you're tracking statistics or key metrics, key numbers in your business, and you want to be able to have a place where you can log on to and just see a dashboard of everything that you need to see in the business. We just bring up this dashboard in our weekly meeting each week. So we'll bring that up on the TV in the boardroom, and everybody can actually work through the numbers there, rather than having paper reports and things kind of written down and paper going all over the place. One last thing I wanted to show you was something pretty cool that we did for an e-commerce business. They wanted to track the productivity of their customer service agents that were actually working on the phones. And they were saying, well, Peter, we want to manage the business via statistics, but we're not sure how to do it. What business system can do it? And we set up a really cool little easy, quick form for them in Google Forms, which is another form of their Google Docs available. You just go create form here, create a new one. And what we did was we just said, okay, well, let's just categorize the number of calls that are coming into your business each week. And so we said, what's the category of a phone call that's coming in? We made it a multiple choice, so it might be service, it might be sales, it might be complaint. And then what we did was we embedded that form into one of their Google sites. I won't show you guys that. I'll just show you what the form looks like. And what we did then was every time the customer service agent fielded a call, every time the phone rang, they just submitted a response on the form here. And then they went back and they said, okay, well, the next call was a complaint. And then the next one that came through was another service query. And just during the day, they just used this really simple form, and they just tracked one by one as the phone calls were coming in, what they actually were for. And then at the end of the week, when the business owner would like to see, well, what number of calls are coming through to our customer service agents? How many of them are taking all of these different calls? They can just open the spreadsheet here, and they can go ahead and say, show us the data, show a summary of responses. And that gives you a summary of all of the responses that have actually come through. And so that business has gone from having no idea what number of calls were coming through, no idea what number of calls each of their agents were managing, to now having just really, really simple data for them to manage the business on a week-to-week basis. And you can very easily embed either that form or the graph or any of the results or even the spreadsheet straight into your Google Sites. There's another presentation I did, I think, last October on the portal where I went into more detail onto embedding that. But I'll be around tomorrow if you guys have any questions at all on any of the stuff here or anything else on Google Apps or anything else Google. Thank you very much, guys.
Business Blueprint. To access more great content, visit businessblueprint.com.